Does everything have to be so confusing? Like everything, right? This poor little boy missing, Sebastian Rogers. This is like killing me, this kid. Um, Anybody who's following this, I guess you're maybe watching this. If you saw my update yesterday, um, I really thought they had found something. I went back and listened closely to the beginning when JLR first arrived, and it sounded like the woman was saying the reason that they arrived there was because a drone had flown over and had noticed some hot spots, and they had a specific area that they wanted to go and check with the dogs. I guess there's a dispute about how many dogs were there. I don't know that that necessarily matters, but we all did see um, that live, and I had it on my last video where, the dog did find something. And so it seemed pretty reasonable that they would, the police would go and the recovery team or someone would go and find what it was that they were looking at. And then hopefully we would all get an update as to if there was something there. But we haven't heard anything. And then since that time, there's been all of these crazy rumors. In terms of where they were searching, I've heard different things, as you may have. It's federal land, they need a warrant, those kind of things. And that sort of makes sense to me. I think some of the search efforts from the volunteers, it sounds like maybe they aren't very coordinated with law enforcement. And so people are just sort of going out and searching on their own. But I don't see how that's a problem when a little boy is missing. I know that if it was a loved one of mine, I would be looking high and low, and I wouldn't really be worried about getting a search warrant. Of course, if it's private property, you always have to be concerned. You don't want to get shot walking onto somebody else's yard or something like that. That Rockland Recreation Center, though, I would imagine that that's public land. So I'm not sure how that fits in. If you watched it, you could see there was lots of debris and fallen trees and things like that. And I know in Tennessee, they had they definitely had a tornado recently. And so that was destruction left over from that, and power lines down. So it could have been a matter of, something that was dangerous for people to be walking around out there without informing anyone. I guess they don't want someone to get hurt while they're searching. So that part makes sense as well. All that said, if a dog hit on something, I don't know that any of that matters at that point. Now, I did hear JLR follow up with someone that had stayed back after the hit was done from the dog, and she did say that that there was a recovery team that showed up. So today I've heard all kinds of other things going on, as you may have as well if you've been really closely following this case, in terms of the United Cajun Navy. And are they there? Are they not there? They've been told to stand down for 7 days, is what JLR has repeatedly said. And so if you're like me, sometimes you just get hooked on one specific area where you get a lot of your news, and YouTube is usually where I go, but Twitter is another place really where I go. Mainstream media is the last place I go. I really try not to even go in there at all because it makes me nauseated. So Facebook, I never go to, but it seems like this case, a lot of things are unfolding on Facebook. So I did venture onto Facebook, and I did find something that I thought was helpful. Around 5 hours ago, Todd Terrell, who's the founder of the United Cajun Navy, reported that UCN is doing everything we can to assist in the search for Sebastian. We know everyone wants information, but please trust the process. That phrase reminds me of QAnon, by the way, but I'm not saying Todd has anything to do with QAnon. I'm just saying I don't like that phrase because of that, because trust the process, 5 years later, nothing's happened with Q. However, that's nothing against Todd Terrell. UCN is a great organization. So people were just really bugging this guy in the comments because people are really invested. They really want to know where Sebastian is. And so 1 hour ago, Todd Terrell gave us an update. Todd Terrell, founder of UCN, and he says, this is really interesting to me. There's a method to our madness. Our UCN network of volunteers is currently assisting in several high and low profile missing person cases throughout the country. When we say trust the process, I mean sometimes things need to play itself out through a process of elimination. Stay tuned and pray for Sebastian, his family, friends, volunteers, and law enforcement officials, as well as all the other missing persons. So, if it's kind of, I feel like he's thrown us a bone here, guys. I know a lot of people are really focused on the Proudfoots, right? Because I don't like to cast aspersions or any type of judgment on people, but I do agree that the way that they are behaving is not the way I would behave in that situation. And they have been caught out in lies. At least people are speaking up. For example, the mother of Seth Rogers, the biological father of Sebastian, not a happy woman. I don't blame her. And she's sort of calling out Mr. Proudfoot quite a bit. They probably had a contentious relationship before all of this, and this obviously isn't helping matters. And then the whole snake thing where Mr. Proudfoot goes on and talks about the snakes and how he gave it back. Sebastian loved the snake and he had to give them back to the I guess the pet store. I guess they had 20 snakes in their house. God bless. I don't like snakes. I wouldn't want one snake in my house, like not even one. I don't want a snake in my house. Okay. But Sebastian loves snakes. And one of them in particular was his favorite. And he told the story about how like he was always talking about discipline. Discipline is very important to Mr. Proudfoot, apparently. So, and that's fine. That's fine. But apparently he gave them back to this pet store. But then lo and behold, somebody spoke up and said, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. And he hasn't called once to find out about the snake. So this guy is like he's just getting clapbacks all the time. So I don't think that makes him necessarily guilty of anything. But it does make him kind of, maybe a liar, right? And when you're in the middle of an investigation like this, lying doesn't look good on you. It doesn't look good on you. And because of his personality, he seems sort of like just like a macho know-it-all type guy. And that doesn't help either, I think. However, all of that said, this post from UCN, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if there's something larger going on here, other missing children that are involved in something. In other words, we don't know what they found yesterday. For certain, there was fresh mound of dirt. And just because they didn't tell us that something wasn't found doesn't mean that nothing was found. We don't always know everything right away. They can't tell us everything. And so it's possible something was found. It doesn't mean it was Sebastian. It could have been another missing child. Lately, it seems there are a lot of missing children, and it's devastating and heartbreaking, right? I mean, this world, what in the actual fudge is going on? I mean, people are just losing their minds, guys, losing their minds. I don't know about you, but it just makes me very sad. It makes me sad. Anyway, I'm going to just read this one last time, and you guys tell me what you think he's trying to tell us here. This is Todd Terrell, the founder of the UCN. There's a method to our madness. Our United Cajun Navy network of volunteers is currently assisting in several high and low profile missing person cases throughout the country. When we say trust the process, I mean sometimes things need to play itself out through a process of elimination. Stay tuned and pray for Sebastian, his family, friends, volunteers, and law enforcement officials, as well as all the other missing persons. I don't know. I don't know. Everyone is focused right now on the family, the Proudfoots, right? Is there some kind of ruse? Are they playing that for a reason? Are we being played, guys? Like, is there something else behind the scenes here that's going on? Is there a larger network that is luring children out of their house, that's kidnapping kids? This is me. I'm conspiracy minded. I can't help it. I always go deeper. So that's my take on it. Just wanted to give you guys an update. Let's just hope and pray Sebastian is found soon. Let's hope and pray he's found safe and alive. And all the missing children. Keep your loved ones safe, guys, and keep an eye on them, on everybody. We got to take care of each other. Be kind. Give people compassion. Try to imagine how you would want to be treated in that situation. You never know what someone else is going through. You just don't, right? So anyway, peace. I'll be following this, guys. I'll be following this case. I don't know. I can never end these.